You figure out what you're supposed to be doing as you experiment and explore doing stuff. You ain't gonna figure it out before you explore it. Being somebody that never stopped doing it, it has been a very humbling experience to learn that I would have never been able to figure this out. You can't figure it out in your head. You just it's impossible. That's where we get stuck at. Is trying to figure it out. If we trying to figure out if we supposed to be or not supposed to be doing something in our mind. You figure it out in front of you. Then that means you wasn't taking what you was doing and learning and growing from it. Like, so it's like when you make something, you use what you make to grow, and you use what you made to influence the next thing you make, and then you realize that you commit to making forever. So once you commit to making forever and commit to experimenting forever and using the last thing you made to help you guess at what the next thing is supposed to be, because that's what's happening. You just going through and you saying, "Oh, I made this." You study it, you learn from it, you critique it, you try to make it, you try to duplicate it, you try to add to it, you try to remove from it, and then you explore the next thing that caused you to make. And then you use that current thing and do the same process all over again. It's from one drawing to the next. I was drawing with charcoal in high school, but for some reason I thought I wanted to draw with pen. And then for years I'm drawing with pen. I took all these classes, all I'm doing is drawing with pen. So the fact that the most challenging and beneficial thing for me is drawing with charcoal at 45, I'm sitting there thinking that's crazy. It's kind of like I knew before I even knew. And then I went on this whole exploration just to come back to where I started. But I would have never knew how I felt about using the materials that I'm using, charcoal, if I didn't have anything to compare it to. You need to accept what you do. And if you don't accept what you do, then you need to add to what you're doing. If it doesn't feel like enough. But if what you do feels like enough, whatever it is you do, you're supposed to explore that in as many ways as possible. Yeah, but if you don't see it as something, it will have you not knowing what to do. Because you say you don't do anything and then say, all I know how to do is, and then you name the thing that you know how to do. Because you want to believe that you don't do anything. Because subconsciously, being stuck is where you are comfortable being. So you helping yourself be stuck. You're not uncomfortable enough to get unstuck. So if we had to grade comfort of being stuck versus being unstuck, you're more uncomfortable not being stuck. The unknown is more uncomfortable for you than what's familiar. And part of what's familiar is stuck. Because you would really have to ask yourself questions like, wow, why do I tell myself that what I enjoy doing is nothing? And how do I learn to tell myself something different so I can see what I'm doing in a different way? That's what you got to ask yourself. How do I see what I'm doing in a different way than I see it? Because how you see it is contributing to you feeling stuck. Because when you see what you're doing as something, your imagination is going to start to create possibilities of what you could do with it. And the goal isn't to know what to do. The goal is to experiment with the possibilities of what you could do. I had a camera before any of these motherfuckers had a camera in their pocket. Before the camera was digital, niggas was looking at me like, what the fuck are you going to do with that? I'm 16, 17 years old, surrounded by everybody in school, rehearsing what I want to do when I grow up. And they all saying the shit that everybody is taught to say. The nurses and the doctors and the lawyers and the architects, this is what motherfuckers is saying to the adults. And I'm not saying that. And no matter what I said, they say, what are you going to do with that? And I'm like, I really don't even know what the fuck I'm going to do with it. I didn't know that I was going to go put a mural up with one of the photographs. I didn't know I was going to put it on no wood. I didn't know it was going to be able to pay for my life. I didn't know I was gonna get obsessed with printing. I didn't know photography was gonna go digital. I didn't know I was gonna have a dark room in my basement. I didn't know. None of it existed. The only thing I knew to do was to continue to do it. That was my goal. What do I gotta do never to stop? Because if I never stop, I'll figure it out. That's the goal. So I'm never gonna work a full-time job. I'm never going to go do something where I'm making so much money that the money is satisfying the money need. If I gotta get a part-time job, let me teach the shit that I'm learning. I'm always gonna be learning something new, so I'm always gonna be one of the rawest teachers, because I'm always gonna be talking about the most current shit. I don't wanna work and have to change my mindset. Like, I wanna be in here doing whatever the fuck I'm doing, and I wanna go down there and teach and say, hey y'all, look what the fuck I'm working on. Yeah, this is the technique that I use. This was the program that I use. I'm not talking about something different than what I'm already talking about. If I gotta go make money. And if I really need some money, I'll just go do construction, because I can hustle construction. I'm a raw ass part-time person. But I don't want to do that, because if I keep doing that, then I'm always going to need to do it. So I'm going to cut that off and figure out how to make more money. But I don't want to shoot weddings. And I don't want to shoot your party. And I don't want to do this shit that people doing to hustle it. I want to make the art make money. I want to make my pictures make money. So I had to cut off how I was making money when I realized, oh, I got a lot of options for this shit that a motherfucker told me I couldn't do nothing with it. So now that I can do 100 things with the camera, with the computer, with the dark room, with the prints to make money, now I can start to cut off what I don't want to do. And maybe that'll help me know what I want to do. The conversation that happened yesterday here is motherfuckers ain't stretching themselves. They defaulting to what they comfortable with, even though they claim that they're uncomfortable. But they really are, y'all clinging to comfort. Like, the real discomfort is in the not knowing. So when you don't know and you stuck, it's because you are not moving further into the unknown. When you don't know and you are growing and developing, it's because you don't know and you're moving towards the unknown. I don't know what's gonna happen next. Shit is fucking crazy. And it ain't always comfortable. I've just learned that if I know what's next, I'm going the wrong way. That's what I know. Because that's what the whole exploration process has shown me. When you know the path, you walk in somebody else's, period. When you know that, based on having to do enough to experience that, you just use it as your default. It becomes how you measure whether you know whether you're doing the right thing or not. I know I'm doing the wrong thing when I already got a whole lot of examples of what that outcome is. I look at mostly every artist in this city and I watch what they're doing. And I recognize that I don't get invited to what they're doing. And I know that that means I'm doing something. Because if I was getting invited to what they're doing, it means I'm doing what everybody else is doing. That's my measure. I'm supposed to do the thing that I have a physical reaction to when I think about doing it. Damn, I think I'm about to start putting these murals up on the building. But I don't know how to do it. Okay, well, how did somebody do it? Okay, get some wheat paste. What the fuck is wheat paste? Oh, you gotta mix it. How the fuck do you mix it? Oh, you mix it, it didn't stick. Everything peeled off. Okay, is it anything that's better than the peeled off shit? You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, then I ain't got no printer big enough. So I'm printing up 150 prints off my printer to do it. And then once I start doing that shit, somebody said, hey, somebody's putting this shit on brick and they melting it down. Figure out how to do that. I'm thinking like, damn, how the fuck am I gonna figure out how to do that? But that's exactly what I wanna do. And then it's like, well, how much would that cost? Who doing it? What's the ink they using? What's this? What's the process? What's that? What are you using in the video? Pause the video, YouTube, zoom in, blow it up. What the fuck is that? What the fuck do maybe call it? How the fuck do I figure out possibly how to Google it? So figuring out the unknown with nobody to tell you what to do next is a very doable thing. But what has to happen is you have to adopt the mindset that says, I'm going to figure it out. You got to really structure your beliefs. People making money doing anything. So if people making money doing anything, all you got to do is figure out how to do something. And then if you already know how to do something, you got to learn how to see it as something. Because now you ain't got to figure out what to do. You got to figure out what to do with what you know how to do. And then you got to study people who've done something with it. You can't tell me in the world of visual image and television, imagery, photography, pictures, photographs, and everybody fucking in front of the goddamn camera. What are you talking about? The only thing I know how to do is what everybody we see is doing, which is being in front of the fucking camera. It's a mindset thing. My photography teacher told me in college, next time somebody asks you, what are you going to do with photography? You tell them to go inside of the nearest bookstore and count every photograph in the magazine aisle. And that was all I needed. Because what I heard him say is it's endless what the fuck you could do with this. And then what I learned is it's endless with what you could do with anything. I'm sitting here learning that I'm good at structuring foundations and systems and telling motherfuckers to cut me in on a percentage of their business as something that I know how to do. Learning how to do this. I didn't know creating my own foundation was going to teach me how to understand creating a foundation. Somebody might look at that as nothing. Donald, what's the work you're going to do? What you mean you want a percentage? What the fuck I mean is this shit ain't moving and it ain't about to move. And I've learned how to make shit move. So if I can see making shit move as something, I can sit there and say to a motherfucker, how much is that worth? It's the imagination game. The genius, the artist is whoever is figuring out and using their creative problem solving skills and putting them to use. Seeing multiple possibilities. You know, some people call this a phone. Some people see a supercomputer. Some people see a camera. Some people see a video camera. Some people see something to take notes. Some people see a tracking device. Like, what the fuck do you mean? You know, some people see pollution. Some people see health benefits. Some people see a scam. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's we're looking at a piece of plastic. So it's like, if we can see multiple possibilities in this, you can see multiple possibilities in yourself. Issue has to do with a lack of confidence based on a lack of trust in yourself, based on a lack of experience. See, once you throw yourself to the wolves enough, you're like, oh, I could do anything. And then some people could get thrown to the wolves and it's like, oh, I need to exercise a little more. So the next time I get thrown to the wolves, I don't take off running. But you won't know that you won't know the exercise you need to do if you don't get thrown into the wolves. So I just throw myself in it because I realize that, oh, I'm better. I think about it less and I'm better when I'm under pressure. So all I got to do is commit to the thing that I want to do. And the pressure that comes with it is going to cause me to get prepared before it's time for me to do it. I got a mural commission before I got the printer to print the murals out. I had the commission already. I had already sold the whole thing. Got chosen, got picked, got the money with no clue to how I was going to get the fucking mural up. So I had 1 year to figure it out. And now I had more money than I had ever touched in order to do it. But if I would have tried to figure out how to do it before I pitched, I might not even pitched. And all I did is just use the story that somebody else was telling me. I ain't make that up. Gordon Parks did that. That's what he used to do. He didn't know how to do something. He knew what he wanted to try. So he went and sold the opportunity to somebody. The opportunity came to him, and then he went and figured out how the fuck to do it before it was time for him to honor what he had committed to. Ain't no pressure greater than that. You just told a panel full of motherfuckers, give me this $30,000 and I'm about to do something amazing on the side of this building and I ain't never did it before. I practiced installing that fucking vinyl for 1 year on the back of my chimney. I did it daily. And I couldn't get the motherfuckers around me to practice with me. So I wound up learning how to do it and nobody learned how to do it with me. Then I had one of my young students. Every now and then he would come and he would try. So I knew at the very least he had touched it before. So he was the only person that started kind of helping me on that first mural. But the reality was I didn't know that I could put marks, overlap marks to line it up when it's on the wall. I didn't even know. I just was eyeballing the whole shit. I never drove a lift before. But when I looked at it, it's like, oh, it looked like fucking video game and arcade joysticks. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason I'm able to do that is because of the last thing I challenged myself to do. So the bigger the challenges became, the more evidence I had to support me having some level of confidence doing it. You know what I'm saying? So let's say confidence, self-esteem, high. Well, really, it's just a whole lot of situations that I challenged the fuck out of myself. And when I fucked up redoing that mural on Harvey Rice, and I didn't like it because I was using a new vinyl and I needed to use a new clear coat, and I've been out there for a week putting it up. Do you know what I did? I peeled it off the fucking wall. The next fucking day. The self-esteem, and reprinted the whole thing. And just started installing it. Like I installed 2 fucking murals with nonstop. So then it was like, oh, I gotta put this one up on 135th and Kinsman? Well, I know I can do 2 murals in fucking a week and a half. Why? Because I stretched myself. But 3 murals before that, I ain't had nobody to help me. So I just went and did one by myself to see how long it would take me to put my own 37 pieces up by myself. So when they like, you ain't got nobody that's about to help you, I'm like, well, the reality is I don't need no help. I enjoy the help. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the help, but the help ain't practicing, so I be nervous. They practicing in real time on this shit. If they fuck up, I gotta reprint it. But I don't want to have to do the shit by myself, but I'm conditioned to, I'm prepared to. And I've actually already did one by myself. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like using the last thing to grow to the next thing. And it didn't start with me cutting my images up and putting them on buildings. When I wanted a big ass mural in my living room, when I was 24 years old living in Jersey City, I printed out 200 8x10 prints and stuck them to the wall. And everybody's like, oh, that's amazing. I'm sitting there thinking like, man, I wish I had a printer that could print this big. I didn't know I was going to get a printer that could print that big. Like a motherfucker is making this shit up daily and remembering the last thing that happened. And when I'm not having a productive conversation with myself, I'm trying to uncondition myself from having an unproductive conversation. People saw whatever in me way before I could see it. And I don't believe that I see what people see. But if people tell you that something that you're doing has value, and you can hear yourself telling yourself that that thing that people see as valuable, you don't see it as valuable, stop listening to yourself. Listen to everybody else. Listen to everybody else long enough until you actually believe it. And stop listening to people who's saying counterproductive shit that you already saying to yourself. Ignore that. If believing in something is a choice, why would you choose to believe something that's not beneficial to you? Was a question that I had to ask myself. So if everybody's saying this shit is amazing, why the fuck am I sitting here saying, man, I don't really see what the fuck they talking about? Fuck what I see. They see is amazing. So let me just pretend like I see what they see. Let me see how far that can get me. And where it got me is my own belief. It's like look at it like all of the voices in your head and the ideas and people saying stuff, what you think. Look at it like they all got a volume switch. You need to figure out how to turn down what you don't need to hear and turn up what you need to hear. And every time you're hearing something that you don't need to hear, you got to turn what you need to hear up louder. Period. Like you can uncondition and recondition yourself, but that's the process. You can drive down Kinsman and see another 30-foot mural and people admire that shit. But that is not the internal experience that I'm having to get it done. I'm not walking around like, yep, this shit about to be raw as fuck. Everybody about to love that shit. Everybody gonna appreciate it because I'm raw. And that ain't who I am. I'm sitting there thinking like, I hope people really appreciate it. I hope ain't nobody offended. I know niggas is gonna be mad about it. Motherfuckers look at photography like it ain't art because I ain't sitting here drawing. Like I hear something completely different than what gets made. All I can think about is all of the ways I can fuck this up. And I usually can't even see what I actually did until enough time goes by for me not to be able to see and think about what I could have did. And I just accept that as a part of the process. Yeah, I got butterflies in my stomach when I'm printing it out. I got butterflies when I'm trimming, when I'm laminating, when I'm cutting it. I'm waiting to fail. And then I'm watching myself mess up and then fix my mistake. So technically, ain't no way for me to fail. It's a mindset thing. You need to clear the fog off of your glasses because it's got you seeing in ways that aren't productive for you. And until you do that, everything that you do is going to be tainted by how you're seeing it. Somebody would trade your hand. Somebody would take your hand and flip it. Yes. So if somebody could take your hand and win off of it, because of how you see it. You ain't seeing your own hand from the perspective of the person who sees that they have a losing hand. The truth is, you have everything that you need. to get what it is that you want. You just have to readjust some mind shit, some emotion shit, some behavior shit, some truth and honesty shit. You readjust that stuff, you'll look back on a day like today and say, it's crazy that I didn't see this shit the way I see this shit now. Because I'll sit here like, it's crazy that I didn't see this shit the way I see this shit now. I mean, you talking to somebody who's sitting with 6 million images on the computer, listening to the white art world tell me that, nope, not yet. Nope, not yet. Nope, not yet. Hey, maybe you should work on this. Maybe you should consider this. Maybe you should think about this. Well, maybe you should go meet with this group. Maybe you should go to this professional development. Maybe you should take this class. Maybe you should go take this course. And this motherfuckers around me who would never believe that this is how I'm being rejected. Like, it's like I feel like Kanye West playing motherfuckers Jesus Walk and they not signing me. I got people from out of town saying, what's up with the lady in your town, Donald? Why you ain't took your work to her for her to plaster you all up over the museum? I'm like, I do. They like, no fucking way. We seen the last thing she did. There's no way she's seeing what we're seeing and your shit ain't there. And I'm sitting there like, well, thank you, because I be over here beating myself up thinking like, damn, what the fuck did this bitch want to see? And then it's like, no, I need to turn her down. I need to turn her down. Because if I'm hearing her, it's counterproductive to what the fuck I'm doing. I had to step away from all of these fuckers just so I could recalibrate my perception of what the fuck I do. I gotta get away from them. I'm hearing what they're saying. It's fucking with my subconscious. I need to be on Kinsman by Murders Taylor where the motherfucking streetwalkers is walking by giving me the thumbs up. I had to get the fuck away from these white people telling me that I'm still doing something wrong. It was fucking with my perception of the value of myself. And most people ain't looking at me like I got a value perception issue with myself. People wouldn't imagine that. You know why? Because I've created a behavior that supersedes my own perception of myself. So every time I feel uncomfortable with everything that I do, I've created the belief that the discomfort is telling me that, yep, that's what you're supposed to do. Yep, that's what you're supposed to do. Yep, pack this shit up, go to Philly, apply, see if you can be in the first Doomsday Fest in Philly. You ain't been to Philly showing your work in 20 fucking years. Now you got the images. And when I thought like, damn, I should go, I should apply. If I get in, fuck it. I'm just gonna jump on the road, throw all this shit, pack it up, take prints, go out there and trap. Like, cause I know how to do that. And I'm like, damn, but who gonna go with me? Oh, fuck it, I'll go by myself. I need to go by myself. So talk myself out of all my excuses before I even make them. So as I hear them, I already talk myself out of that excuse. I don't believe it. Why not? Jump on the road. Nigga, this is what the fuck you was getting prepared for. Fuck you uncomfortable for? What the fuck you scared for? Why was you even scared to present this shit to these people on this fucking panel as if you don't talk about this shit all the fucking time? Don't matter that I'm uncomfortable. Uncomfortable means I'm supposed to do it. Oh, am I supposed to put together a Zoom? Am I supposed to show it how they want to see it? Fuck it, show it how I want to show it. I laid it out on the pool table, was on Zoom, had my phone, hovered over all of the shit. How y'all feel? I see y'all in the car. Y'all need a vertical or horizontal? I ain't in Philly. So I can't come to everybody bringing their work to show it. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just telling you that the discomfort is there. The not knowing is there. Having to spend the money is there. It's mindset. You can't get your mind together through your mind. See, if your mind is the problem, you can't trust. That's what confidence, self-esteem is all rooted in. Your ability to be able to trust your own mind. You need to learn to override what you're thinking with your behavior so you can start to be able to trust it. Just behavior in general, habits. You know, most people who stuck have it's a whole sequence of habits. We overthink. We talk ourselves out of it. We make excuses. We justify. We procrastinate. Blame other people. No accountability. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuck motherfucker. We got a specific. Yeah, we got a specific sequence of things that we do. The issue is with them sequence of things that we do, we haven't created a counter to that thing. So every time I procrastinate, I got to do it. Every time I overthink, I gotta do the last thing that I thought about and stop thinking about it. Every time I blame somebody else, I gotta figure out how it's my own fault. Every time you know what I'm saying? You gotta create a new habit. You gotta attach a new habit to all of the counterproductive behavior. If you can find an accountability system, then you just gotta learn to talk about all of the bullshit that you're doing so they can remind you, help you become more aware of it, and help you start to counter it. But what happens is most people come across some level of accountability, and then once they don't want to hear what they already know, then they stop. Motherfuckers like drug addicts, like you're addicted to being the version of yourself that you claim not to want to be. So every time you try to figure out how to quit, you find yourself still tapping back in, taking another little shot of your old self. And then you get you a sober companion, and then you sit there when you want to take it, you say, I ain't about to call him. And if you being dishonest, which most of us are, then you don't even tell them that you did it because you don't want to hear what you already know. Versus, I want to be honest with you because the best thing in any relationship is honesty. So let me tell you that I drunk the other day. See, we lying to ourselves and we got a whole list of bad habits, thought processes, and we emotionally immature as fuck because we don't want to feel, we don't want to talk, we don't want to be honest, and we don't want to physically do the wrong thing. We want to wait to figure out the right thing. So that's the only thing we got to do because we don't really want to work. Not for real. Who the fuck wants to really work? You just figure out what you like doing and enjoy doing and figure out how to turn it into finance. We thinking finance first. We supposed to be thinking doing first. I'm telling you, I look right down at that corner of the table. They like, well, I thought I was supposed to be taking more responsibility for myself. You are supposed to be taking more responsibility for yourself, but you don't got to figure this shit out on your own. Well, I was doing it. No, you're doing what's comfortable. You're doing the default. You ain't stretching yourself. We threw you into the wolves. You a wolf. We already know you a wolf. You can fight, but you ain't pushing yourself. She allowing herself to be pushed when she with us. But she ain't pushing herself, so ain't no growth happening. You got to have to push from two directions, and then it's growth. But if we pushing, when a motherfucker don't want to be pushed, they getting pushed over. Or defending themselves like, stop pushing me. But if we both pushing, that's growth. If it's only coming from one side, and you ain't moving, that's the definition of stuck. Yeah, it's the definition of stuck. And the reality is, this is what we all dealing with. So this ain't even no isolated issue. This ain't even something that is isolated to you. Your configuration is unique to you. Motherfuckers is stuck. So the question is, I just told you, dishonest.
Why we can't just easily flip it?
Because it's also, you addicted to the version of yourself that you are. There's comfort in it because it's familiar. You're not the version of yourself that you want to become. And if you ain't checking and evaluating all of your habits, all of your mindset, all of your emotional maturity or immaturity, all of your truth-telling ability, if you're not evaluating it, like that's the measure. The measure ain't, oh, I'm different than what I used to be. That ain't the measure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you was out in the sun all day. You darker. I don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? You taller. Your hair longer. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the measure. The measure is the distance you create from other versions of yourself. How much distance is there? How wide is that gap? When you hear me say stretch yourself, how far have you stretched? When my father said to me, son, I'm proud of you. You come a long way. It was the most emotional thing anybody has ever fucking said to me. Because I recognized that he could see how far I've stretched from where I started. You feel what I'm saying? It's a hell of a fucking stretch. Stretched without breaking. Yeah, I'm different than I was a month ago. I'm different than the last time we had a conversation. You feel what I'm saying? Like, literally. But them just touchdowns. I still don't even know what to do with my ability to be able to have this conversation with you. You feel what I'm saying? But I think that it has some value. And I think somehow it's some monetary value. I think it's some insight in there. But I don't know what the fuck to do with it. But I'm not going to stop doing it just because I don't know what to do with it. Even if it feels like to some people, I'm just talking. I've grown with the conversations that we've created as a small community of individuals. And I'm forever grateful for the full participation, my contribution, and what was contributed to me. Because I was in 20 stuck conversations weekly, overwhelmed, upset, frustrated, anxious, mad as fuck. You feel what I'm saying? And I ain't there no more. And I'm proud as fuck of that. And if we look at the full distance of it, it's about 14 years. If we look at the short distance of it, the last 2 years has been where growth has really been happening. And we all in a similar fucking boat. I just was trying to figure out how not to get stuck. And now I'm getting more in tune with what the fuck it is I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out how to share that shit. Like, hey, I was really thinking. It ain't over till you quit. It ain't over till you quit. It ain't over till you quit. I've been rehearsing that shit in my head since I was fucking 25. How do I know when it's over? Oh, it's only over when you quit. That's when it's over. Okay, so all I gotta do is never quit. Oh shit, how did I get good at something? When I was little. Oh, I just practiced it every day. Oh, now I'm 37, I want to pop a willy. So what am I supposed to do? Oh, practice the shit every day until I can do it. That's the goal. The goal really ain't to pop a willy. The goal is to practice it every day. Fuck the goal. I'm already identified. I want to be able to willy this motherfucking bike. Like these kids is willying it. So I can think about my ability to do it. I can critique myself on how fast it's moving, how slow it's moving. Or I can just say, every single day, I'm going to pop a willy until I can willy. And then I look up and 8 years later, I'm so far from falling in Shaker parking lot with no phone, laying on my back in the middle of the night by myself thinking it's too early to quit. How you do anything is how you do everything. That's why you hear me talking about popping a willy or a fucking mural or a water bottle. The nigga that came over yesterday, I'm sitting there like, nigga, you want to be honest, your whole interaction with your motherfucking ginger ale is the problem. He's like, what you mean? I said, well, the truth is you was walking to the car, you said, I shouldn't be drinking this, but it's better than drinking another form of pop. And then you came down, sat down, and then you drank that motherfucker. I said, this is why you can't get your business going. Because you can't be honest with yourself. Drink the motherfucking ginger ale just because you want to. But you got to lie to yourself and trick yourself in order to feel comfortable with doing what you want to do, to taking responsibility for the fact that, you know, all of your family members diabetics is why you're probably looking at the sugar a certain kind of way or something. I don't know what the fuck it is. You're just not holding yourself accountable. You got to say that it's better. This ain't the worst of the bad shit. And I can't help but hear it the way I just explained it to you. You got to be able to be honest with yourself. You're doing it because you want to. Nigga, you've been selfish forever. So when we saying split the money, I know that shit made you uncomfortable. How could it not? This your idea. It's special to you. You thought about it for yourself. You thought about it for yourself, but you came over here for help getting it going. Ain't that a bitch? Yes, it's selfish. You don't really have no responsibilities outside yourself. And there's benefits to that. You selfish because there's benefits. Stop making it right or wrong. Stop making it good or bad. You doing what you want to do because that's what you want to do. You're not doing what you not doing because you don't want to do it. So can you trick yourself into doing the stuff that you need to do? That's the question. That's the challenge. How do I trick myself into doing the things that I need or want to do? Period. Because most of us have tricked ourselves out of it. We completely tricked ourselves out of getting anything fucking done. We walking around pretending that there's a version of us that wants to do it, but the version of us that doesn't want to do it is beating up the version of us that wants to. The part of me that doesn't want to do any of this shit is stronger than the part of me that wants to do it. That's what we telling ourselves. I mean, part of me want to, part of me don't. So why the part of you don't keep winning? Because you lying to yourself. This the whole you. You don't want to do it, and you ain't being honest with the fact that you don't want to do it. Because once you're honest with the fact that you don't want to do it, then you understand what the real problem is. And once you know what the real problem is, you can work on that. You can't work on the lie. the illusion, the delusion. It ain't no action steps for them. There's only action steps for the truth. I'm selfish as fuck. I only got to think about myself. Is why I'm selfish. It's like, oh, and that's getting in the way with me being able to share, even getting help with my business that ain't moved since I came up with the idea. So if I really want to grow, then maybe I use this as an opportunity to grow by not being selfish, as a form of practicing not being selfish with some motherfuckers that I trust with my life. Or you kick into the default, say, I really thought about it. I'm uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't want to share it. Okay. It's understandable. It's the truth.
Yeah.
And it's a never ending challenge. It's a never ending thing. Growth is the problem.
My growth?
Yeah, growth is always going to influence what we do or do not do. Our ability to continue, our ability to turn it and transform whatever it is we do. Like the doing is cool.
I'm not growing.
Yes. It's the growth. Because growth.
So how am I supposed to grow?
In all them areas. Honesty, mindset, emotions, habits. You gotta develop. Because the development of that is going to change your perception of what you like to do. People used to think what I was doing was a hobby. I knew it wasn't a hobby. I think you need to work on your mindset because you good at tricking yourself. You don't think you good at tricking yourself? You good at tricking yourself, like playing a trick on yourself, like mentally. No. This is what's fucking with your subconscious. Your subconscious ain't sitting there knowing what you saying. Your subconscious is sitting there saying, she keeps saying she don't do nothing. That's why you ain't doing nothing. The subconscious ain't sitting there trying to, it ain't sitting there taking in the innuendos and the influx of what the fuck you saying. What you're speaking into existence is what you keep saying. And your subconscious is what controls your behavior. So if you're telling yourself, I'm not doing nothing, or what I'm doing ain't something, your subconscious is hearing it and it's making your actions match what the subconscious is hearing. What you're speaking into existence is what I'm doing isn't something. I need to be actually doing something. It insinuates that what you're doing is not something. And if it's not something, it might be nothing. But the truth is when you're doing what you keep saying ain't something, you're experiencing something. That's why I say it's a trick you playing with your mind. We can call the trick lying to yourself. Because this is what being in our head is. The back and forth. You ain't sitting there with the angel and the devil sitting there saying, hey, I'm listening to you. You sitting there with the motherfuckers arguing. And then you listening to their argument, and then you saying that argument out loud. It becomes your argument. If the negative version of you ain't productive, listen to the positive version of yourself. If the positive version of yourself ain't productive, listen to the negative version of yourself. If I'm in that bed and I need to get up, this other version say, get the fuck up. It's following what you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. But I'm telling you that mental game or trick we play is rooted in dishonesty with ourselves. And then we blame everybody's saying this to me. So we blaming everybody else. No, it don't matter if everybody else saying it. Because there's some shit that everybody's saying that you ain't doing. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Which means it's just an excuse, which means that equals is really a lie. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's what's controlling it, is the fact that you're saying it. So if you're doing what you don't want to do based on what you're saying, all you got to do is say what you need to hear. You saying what you don't need to hear. That's why what you don't want to happen is what's happening. Because you saying it. Get in tune with them mind, emotion, behavior, truth. How you feeling today? Why? Because I don't want to trick my subconscious. Even if I don't want to talk about the fact that what mean. Because that's something that we do all day. So imagine how many lies we've been told ourselves subconsciously all day if we feeling but we saying something else. We saying what we supposed to say. It's these little places that you practice. It's like it's a sport. It's like you could use a coach, and you gotta stop listening to yourself.
Stop listening to myself.
Yes.
Myself.
You gotta stop listening to yourself. If this was sports, if you was an athlete, and then it's like, okay, you got greatness in you, and you can't tap into the greatness. And then a coaching system, a team is sitting there like, oh, you wouldn't be in the conversation if the greatness wasn't in you, if you wasn't already exercising whatever it is. But when you show up on the team, they don't give a fuck about what you can already do. That's not what's gonna make you great. They don't give a fuck about what worked. All they're gonna say is here go all of the weaknesses. I don't pay attention to my strengths because paying attention to my strengths don't make me stronger. Where is room for improvement? It ain't gonna get where I want it to go if I don't address the weaknesses or the room for improvement. It don't grow. You can't improve without growth, you know? So if this part already working, yeah, keep that going. But this is what you need to add. You need to work on that left. You need to try these dribbling drills. You know what I'm saying? You need to go to sleep earlier. You need to cut down on the social media. You need to address the mind, the behavior, the emotions, because it's affecting your production if you want to grow. But the truth for a lot of us is we actually want what we're creating, and we lie to ourselves and telling us that we don't. We wouldn't be creating it for ourselves if we didn't want it, because it's some shit that we don't want that we ain't about to let happen. We are doing what we want to do, and we're not doing what we don't want to do. That's the truth, because we got a list of stuff that we ain't gonna never do. That's why we ain't never did it. And our whole life to this whatever point is an accumulation of all of the stuff that we wanted to do. We was doing what we wanted to do. I wanted to do that. Anybody make me do it? I blame some motherfuckers for it. But they ain't forced me to do it, you know what I'm saying? And it don't always probably seem like it's all connected. I ain't know developing myself was gonna develop the work. No, if you see the same thing, it's like you looking from the same perspective. And if you kind of see it a little different, you can figure out how much you can look at that as growth. And see, like I said, you keep trying to figure it out here because it make it easier for you not to have to figure it out if your mind is supposed to figure it out. No, because you're not your mind. You're not your mind. Your mind is like a machine that is conditioned and can be programmed and can be turned off and turned on and manipulated.
So what are you?
The observer of your mind. You are the observer of your thoughts. You're not your thoughts. You're observing it. You're observing what your mind is doing. You're observing yourself overthink. The mind is like a fucking television inside of your brain playing movies and images and trying to protect you. It's your mental survival mechanism. It's getting signals, and the signals are connecting to thoughts, feelings, ideas, emotions, and your perception of those thoughts, feelings, ideas, and perceptions is causing you to move or stay. I listen to what my mind do. Like, oh wow, I went a lot of places. I went here. I don't believe none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe it, but my mind is running the movie. It's like, oh yeah, you're not your brain. You're not your thoughts. You're not your experiences. You are the observer and the witness to your experience. Like, that's who you are, separate from all of that stuff. Our minds have been hijacked for us to function the way that we do. And some of us function in the ways that we do comfortably, and some of us function in the ways that we do uncomfortably. Yeah, the mind is like a tool for you to use, but most of our minds are using us as the tool. Yeah, that's how you know ain't nothing wrong with you. Your mind is like a fucking DVD player, and they didn't put the same goddamn DVD in everybody's goddamn heads. And if you ain't able to remove it, you ain't figured out that, oh, I can pause it, I can play it, I can stop it, I can rewind it, I can actually change the motherfucking DVD. I could function without the DVD free from it. Yeah, they got us walking around they got us thinking that they got us thinking. That's what the fuck they doing. They got us thinking that we are the movie that's playing. No, we're observing the movie that's playing. And it's causing us to behave in certain ways. And those ways are beneficial to our, civilization. Yeah, you're not your brain. Yeah, that's why you always hear me say stuff like, is that you or is that somebody else? Because then we plant ideas into the brain and the mind, and then they start to play. Every time you become present, you deactivate the autopilot of your brain. That's why they say wake up and smell the roses, because to smell, activate a sense, automatically the brain stops flashing. It gets quiet when you're present. And when you activate senses, feel the texture of your own fingerprint instantly turns your brain off. That's why we're so addicted to all of the sensory things. Because when we're watching a movie and our eyes are stimulated, our brain ain't going. When we eating all of the shit we eat, sweet, whatever the case is, smoke, drink, all of it is stimulating the fuck out of our senses. And the longer you can go into these present moments, the more clear the function of your brain becomes. Because I can go to a place where it's taking me a week to do something, and it's causing for me to be completely present. I could smell the ink. I could smell the heat. I'm zeroed in on the detail of the vinyl melting at the point I'm supposed to. It's like sensory overload. So once my brain get to going, once I come off the lift, I know that I don't even gotta listen to this, because this ain't even really what the fuck. This ain't me. It's my mind. And I can say, damn, that's crazy. I turned this whole situation into the worst situation in the world. You got no mind control. You don't know how to make it stop. And you don't always seem to know how to decipher what to believe, because you'll say two things. The truth for me usually comes with a little discomfort. The truth is uncomfortable for everybody. Well, it's uncomfortable. It just depends. It's situational, but just generally speaking, the truth. I mean, I can give any example. If I was sitting here, I was going through a period of time where I felt like people were distracting me. It's like, people distracting me, man. I'm tired of being distracted. And then I started to envision that, what if I'm distracting myself? What if people aren't distracting me at all? What if it's me distracting myself with people and blaming people for being the distraction? It was a little uncomfortable to think that I was responsible for the thing that I was blaming. But once I start being able to see it from the perspective that I'm actually responsible for every fucking thing that I'm experiencing based on my perception of it, I was able to solve the problem. But that truth in that specific situation had a little butterfly in my stomach. Like, oh shit, what if it ain't people? What if it's me? How the fuck do I figure out how to stop? Something that I ain't being honest with myself enough to even see. I ain't talking, yes, I did it, no, I didn't type truth. I'm talking the real truth. I'm talking about the secret that we can't find because we didn't hid it underneath all of our lies, justifications, and excuses. I'm talking about that truth. Not that thing that we rehearse, that thing that if there was no consequence, we would say it. You're trying to figure out the hardest thing it is to figure out in life. So you should just know that it's yourself. You always with yourself. You ain't got no self. You ain't got control over yourself. You ain't got control over your mind. You ain't got control over your thoughts. You ain't got control over your behavior. You feel what I'm saying? This is what we're all experiencing, though. I'm just trying to tell you, it's the hardest thing to figure out is yourself, because we are conditioned to not be ourselves. So everything that you experiencing is reinforcing your inability to figure yourself out. We shouldn't know who we are, and we shouldn't know what to do, and we shouldn't know how to solve the problems just on our own. No, not at all. Because we're being trained and taught to do something else. If I'm being taught to function like everybody else, and I look up and I'm functioning like everybody else, that's understandable. But once I become aware that functioning like everybody else doesn't work for me, it's on me to become accountable to create the change and shift and all that. Yeah, we are manufactured human beings, thinking and functioning and operating like each other, like we coming off of an assembly line. So the fact that I can have 12 conversations about getting unstuck or somebody being stuck in a couple days, or me developing an obsession to try to figure out how not to get stuck for more than half my life makes a lot of sense to me. Just accept this is it's the hardest thing to figure out. And once you know you're doing the hardest thing you could do, you don't stop when it feels hard. You accept it now because it's supposed to be hard. It's like forces working against you figuring it out. Some of those forces you're responsible for. Some of these forces are put on you. I was trying to figure out how to express myself through the fucking word. I'd already created the routine of making making the shit, but I'm like, this shit don't even say nothing. It don't even speak to me. How do I say something? Okay, well, what develops my concepts? How do I do that? I just was making, I didn't even know I didn't even know saying something was a part of being an artist. I thought it was showing people that you can do the techniques better than them. Most motherfuckers is technicians. They ain't saying shit other than look at how good I can say nothing. You can say nothing beautiful. Imagine if you could say something. Damn, that shit'd be raw. These same motherfuckers mad that the ugly painting is in the museum, but it's talking. And the shit that you made is visually stimulating as fuck. And it's not saying anything other than praise me because I have technical ability. I can use the fuck out of this pen. I don't know what to say with it.
So who determines?
It determines itself. Art talks by itself. When it ain't talking by itself, it ain't art. If I make something and all it says when someone looks at it is look at what I can make, it ain't talking. But if I make something and when someone experiences it, they start having an internal mental dialogue with the thing that got made that ain't got nothing to do with me as the one making it, and that shit is alive and it's talking. So it's like this. Imagine you did some accidentally good shit. What happens if you strengthen? Deep shit don't come from a deep mindset. Deep shit comes from a clear mind. People who trying to be deep ain't being deep. People who trying to be present, people who trying to be clear are creating deep experiences. Like that's what's happening. I'm not trying to say this. I'm not trying to say they was playing jail. I'm trying to be present and experience what is happening in front of me and happening around me. Yeah, because people lying to themselves. She walking around lying to herself, talking about, yeah, I'm confident. I'm a bad bitch. Whatever the fuck she probably saying to herself. And she's fucking lying to herself. And now she is experiencing something that is expressing the lie that she's telling, and it's creating confrontation and conflict with the lie she's telling herself. Like, oh shit, I thought I was confident, right? Which means you was lying to yourself about being confident. You know you ain't confident because you perceive that as confident, and you know you ain't that. Your perception of that, you're just telling yourself that internally, and then when you're having an internal conversation with your perception of confidence, it's challenging the lie that you're telling yourself. That's art. It's alive. It ain't talking about me. It ain't saying nothing about me. Ain't saying about my intention. It's being able to make something that can say something. Like the actual thing can talk. It's creating a mental conversation with the spirit. And it don't come from intentionally trying to say something. So the growth and the development to get here has nothing to do with me wanting to take a picture of this. It's to be present, to be clear, to create the routines around being able to be prepared in this moment. You know, wanting to make something that I could feel something after I make it. So it's like, well, let me have these people that I feel something about in the pictures, and maybe that'll help me feel something. It's an exploration of what if. What if I try this? And what if I try this? And what if I try this? What if instead of waiting for the kids to ride down the street, what if I start popping a wheelie and then take them to Woodhill and tell all the photographers to come out and take pictures and get them all footage, and then I can get pictures. So what if I create the setting for me to be able to capture the image? Then I get that. I didn't know that was the picture I was going to take. I was creating the conditions for it to happen if it was going to happen. Yeah, this art shit is deeper than a motherfucker making some shit. I can make some shit and I can make some money, but that don't mean I'm making art. Truth is what you do is more valuable to you than how you communicate it. You telling yourself, like, oh, I'm just taking pictures. I don't really care about it. It ain't true. You've been doing it for too long. Don't nobody do nothing this long that makes them feel good and don't care about it. It's just not fucking true. It's just what you tell yourself. For whatever reason is you tell yourself. I think it's so the responsibility don't kick up. I think it's to be so it don't go where it can go. I think it's like you sabotaging all of the possibilities based on how you looking at it. Yeah, but the truth is we ain't promised tomorrow. We play that, oh, I'm gonna be 50. But what about 45 and 31 days? You feel what I'm saying? See, we play that is the best thing we can have is a sense of urgency. And people who seem to be stuck seem to be lacking a sense of urgency. The biggest motivation for a sense of urgency is easily death. But every day you need to contribute to what you are trying to resolve. Confusion comes from not knowing what your purpose is. You know, why you're here, like alive on earth, like not exploring who you are. That's why we came here. We came to experience who we are physically. And then we done got conditioned in all these ways, and it's done fucked up our spirit. And our spirit walking around listening to our brain, which has programs plugged all into it. That's why we lost. That's why we stuck. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't came and we didn't tasted all of the shit, and we didn't got addicted to it, and then forgot why we was here. But we knew why we was here when we were about 6 and under. All I say is stretch yourself. Is beneficial is when that information comes with things to practice. And this book has things to practice. Like, you're supposed to practice it long enough for you not to have to practice it no more. You want to do whatever it is you're doing so much that you can stop thinking about it. This is one of my favorite questions to ask. What's the marijuana intake? It's less chatter since I done stopped smoking weed. That's one of the things that I noticed. Like, I listen to people that I know who on or off are smokers explain some stuff that's going on with their mind that I relate to. And I recognize that I'm not experiencing what I used to be able to relate to. We tell ourselves, I feel better. No, I'm not feeling. And this was me as a smoker. Like, I ain't trying to feel right now. Where the weed at? I understand. Because, and especially if you, if you ain't on no suppressant, you feel them emotions. And if mine ain't there and it's like, I don't want to feel this shit. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I sat in pure emotion probably for about 4 days straight. Right. It was like, oh, this is what I would be experiencing. This is what the weed is stopping from happening. Right. That's the unknown, uncomfortable direction. That is the path, the releasing of control. Self-control is a form of self-sabotage. That's what this manifested into for a lot of us. So we want to know, we want to figure it out. We want to know the answer. We want to know the outcome. We want to know all of it. We want to know all of this stuff that it's impossible to know. And self-control is so overdone to the point where we're not feeling our emotions. We're not feeling our emotions, and we are stuck if we don't know what the outcome is going to be. We have a hard time moving forward. We so under control. We in a control system. The suppressing of the mind from the influence of food, drugs, whatever the case is, to control it. You know, real, like, freedom is a real thing. And the ultimate control is it not needing to be under control. Trust me, I've been obsessed with self-control my entire life. And it led all the way up to needing a serious release, because I was a master at self-control. And I've experienced the detrimental ramifications of it. 100%. My self-control had me not alive. And nobody would have thought that. Nobody would have could see it. But no, it was like, oh, I'm